Dear members of the Human Rights Council, dear delegates, the Netherlands Institute for Human Rights welcomes Mrs. Tendayi Achiume's report, which contained a wealth of findings and recommendations to the government. Racial discrimination is currently in the spotlights worldwide, and the Netherlands is no exception to that. With good reason. Research, reports to the Institute, demonstrations and personal stories make clear that there is a need for the government and society at large to step up the initiatives to combat racism. Much is already in place in the Netherlands. We do have a legal framework, policy plans, complaints procedures, etc. Nevertheless, racial discrimination is a persistent problem at all levels of society. We recognize the Special Rapporteur's finding that in many areas of life, members of racial and ethnic groups are not considered as really Dutch. They are seen as outsiders. This contributes to discrimination on the labour market, prejudice in education, and harassment in public places. We wish to highlight the following issues. We call upon the Human Rights Council to encourage the Dutch government to demonstrate an inclusive vision of Dutch national identity. The government's responsibilities under international human rights law require it to be a more clear and visible opponent of all forms of racial discrimination. It should take a leading role in developing and implementing all necessary measures to step up its efforts to combat all forms of racial discrimination, thus also forms that do not fall within the realm of criminal law. It must take action to address also more subtle forms, to contribute to preventing that these turn into more harmful forms of discrimination. The government should invest more in eradicating stereotypes and prejudice. This requires training of various professional groups in the public service. Our institute also flags out the urgency for the government to encourage the training of professionals in the private sector, in particular in employment. We have recently witnessed signs that the government's reticent attitude is changing. This gives us hope that the Special Rapporteur's recommendations will be taken to heart. Thank you for your attention.